In a distant kingdom, there once lived a young prince named Alexander. He was gifted with intelligence and charisma, and everyone who met him recognized his potential for greatness. However, Alexander had a secret vice that threatened to undermine all his potential. He was a chronic procrastinator. Despite the repeated admonitions of his mentors and advisors, Alexander struggled to keep up with his responsibilities. He would put off tasks until the last possible moment, believing that he worked best under pressure. His procrastination led to missed deadlines, unfinished projects, and ultimately, a lack of faith in his ability to lead. One day, Alexander's father, the reigning monarch, fell gravely ill, and the entire kingdom was plunged into chaos. As the eldest son, Alexander was the natural choice to take over the throne, but he felt woefully unprepared. He knew he needed to rise to the challenge, but his procrastination habit seemed insurmountable. In a moment of desperation, Alexander turned to an unlikely source for help, a wise old hermit who lived deep in the forest. The hermit listened patiently to Alexander's troubles, then gave him a simple task: to chop down a tree that stood at the edge of the forest. Alexander set to work, chopping away at the tree with his axe. But every time he felt he was making progress, he would pause to rest, or to admire his work. The sun was setting by the time he finally felled the tree, exhausted and frustrated. When he returned to the hermit's hut, he expected a rebuke, but instead, the hermit simply smiled and said, "You have learned an important lesson, my son. You cannot accomplish great things if you waste your time admiring your work or taking unnecessary breaks." The hermit's words struck a chord with Alexander. He realized that his procrastination was not just a matter of laziness or lack of discipline, but a deeper issue of self-doubt and fear. With renewed determination, he threw himself into his studies and training, pushing himself to work harder and faster than ever before. Over time, Alexander's discipline and focus began to pay off. He developed a reputation for being reliable and decisive, and people began to look to him for leadership. When his father passed away, Alexander was ready to take on the mantle of leadership, and he did so with aplomb. As he ruled the kingdom with wisdom and compassion, Alexander never forgot the lessons he had learned from the hermit. He knew that procrastination was a constant threat, but he also knew that he had the strength and resilience to overcome it. And so he continued to work hard, day after day, knowing that every small accomplishment brought him one step closer to greatness.